Lean Startup addresses the issue of how to quickly develop a successful product without huge financial risk. This is not limited to startups. Even well-established companies face this challenge. Market demand is a key focus of all companies. In an ideal world, every company would perform a comprehensive market analysis and develop a detailed product plan. Today, we will check everything about Lean Startup methodology. Number 7. What is Lean Startup methodology? Author and entrepreneur Eric Ries created the Lean Startup methodology. This strategy can tell you if your business model is practical, and it helps with developing products or services. In a review of Ries's book, The Lean Startup, the New York Times wrote, the concepts apply both to designing products and developing a market. The 3 steps that make up the Lean Startup methodology are build, measure, and learn. Think of the Lean Startup approach as a loop. As you learn and go through each step, you'll return to the first step to update your products and services. In the traditional model for starting a new business, the founders begin with a 5-year business plan, which they use to raise money, often in the form of venture capital. If there's interest and funding comes through, the team begins work on the launch, usually in stealth mode to prevent potential competitors from catching on. The problem with this is that the company has limited opportunities for running the concept by its potential consumers or getting feedback during the build-out period. Lean startups, by contrast, follow a series of steps to test, build, measure, and learn as they go. The creation of the business model is a work in progress as the team revises and discards hypotheses, soliciting consumer feedback along the way. As the concept moves into production, the company rapidly iterates on and re-engineers the product, fine-tuning it according to what the market wants. Following this trial and error process makes it much more likely that the company will create a product that people are willing to pay for. Instead of executing a pre-thought business model, Lean startups search for one. That is the distinction at the heart of the Lean Startup approach, says Mehdi Chelhai, principal at 4 Principles. Founders need to realize that what they have is an untested hypothesis, which you use to shape a business model that's scalable. Number 6. Build. If you're trying to start a business, you should have an idea of what market need your product or service tries to address. In his book, Ries writes that you shouldn't be asking, can this product be built? Instead, you should focus on questions like, should this product be built? Can we build a sustainable business around this set of products and services? During the first stage of the Lean Startup methodology, you'll build a product to find answers to these questions. This is a minimal viable product, or what Ries calls an MVP. Think of it as a research project for your business. Your MVP won't be a ready-to-ship product or even a prototype. Remember, it's supposed to be minimal and shouldn't take a lot of time to make. Zappos, an online shoe retailer, used Lean Startup principles in its early stages and eventually grew into a company Amazon bought for $1.2 billion. Zappos's MVP involved going to a local shoe store, taking pictures of products, and putting them online. Number 5. Measure. After creating your MVP, you'll take it to different customer segments who will test your product and offer feedback. You're now in the second stage of the Lean Startup methodology. Before you even created your MVP, you probably had a theory on which customer needs your product or service addresses. Now, you can use the data from your MVP and compare it to your initial idea. You can use your customers' comments and experiences to make changes to your MVP. This is a process called agile development. If you find there's not enough interest in your MVP, it can be a sign that it's not viable, and you'll have trouble building a sustainable business. Number 4. Learn. Once you have your MVP, customer feedback, and data, it's time to decide how to move forward with your business idea. Is there enough interest in your idea that it makes sense to create a business and go through product development? Or do you have to change your idea and repeat the loop? This is the third stage of the Lean Startup methodology. It's where you'll choose whether to bring your business idea to life or pivot to a new approach. As you continue through the build, measure, learn loop, you can use RISE's method for measuring progress. You can use customer feedback to measure how close your updates and changes are to meeting customer needs. It's a process RISE calls validated learning. Number 3. How Lean Startup works. Think of Lean Startup methodology as a scientific process of trial and error, following a system of principles and steps. Key concepts include the idea that entrepreneurs are everywhere, both in small new companies and in big established enterprises, and that success is best achieved by eliminating uncertainty and by working smarter, not harder. Customer development, also known as get outside the building. This key concept of Lean Startup methodology says that ideas don't come from the silo of the conference room, but from the problems and needs of the consumer waiting to be solved. Lean startups solicit information from potential buyers, users, and partners for feedback on all elements of the business model, such as product features and pricing. But this solicitation process goes beyond the product itself, analyzing potential distribution channels, sales techniques, and marketing opportunities. Validated learning. The validated learning method of product development follows these steps. Identify a problem that needs to be solved or a need waiting to be filled. Key question: why would someone need this? Develop a product that accomplishes this goal. Create a working prototype, also known as an MVP, minimum viable product. Test the prototype with potential customers. Does it accomplish the goal or fill the need? In response to feedback, fine-tune the product or target market or both. Repeat as necessary. Removing most of the hypothetical element of early research from the equation, MVPs assess product market fit with real-time learning from actual customers, making real financial decisions. Proof of concept. Unlike traditional startups, which base business plans on research and projections, lean startups are founded on proof of concept, meaning that extensive testing is required to prove that an idea is likely to succeed. The MVP is a key element in this process, used to immediately elicit customer feedback and revise assumptions. Then, the build, measure, learn cycle continues, asking more questions and redesigning via a series of small adjustments or iterations. Bigger innovations or pivots occur when a customer input suggests a concept isn't working and a greater rethinking is needed. The end result is that the market dictated the product rather than the other way around. Business model canvas. One way to explain the lean startup approach to business plan development is the lean canvas, in which business units are regarded as a series of hypotheses to be tested according to the build, measure, learn cycle. This testing is both qualitative, utilizing customer interviews and input, and quantitative, using measures to assess costs and benefits and prevent waste. The metrics used to assess success are different too. While traditional businesses use financial reporting metrics such as balance sheets and cash flow, lean startups take into account the cost of customer acquisition, the lifetime value of a customer, and turnover rate in assessing a product's potential. Number 2. How does lean startup methodology help entrepreneurs? Rise used his real-life experiences to create the lean startup methodology. As an entrepreneur, he had several business ventures fail and realized putting hours into trying to create a final product or service was a backwards way of thinking. He may have created well-written business plans, but they were based on assumptions that he never tested in the market. So, he created the lean startup methodology to teach people to think of their startups as experiments. Number 1. Lean Startup Methodology Summary. Just because other businesses may have had success with following a traditional startup growth strategy doesn't mean you have to. The Lean Startup Methodology is a way for you to use a feedback loop to test your business idea. The Build, Measure, Learn loop is a way for you to see if there's customer interest in your idea. If there's not, you can use the data from your test to help you pivot and change your business plan. Do let us know in the comments if you find this methodology effective for your business. Thanks for watching.